Today we're over here at Speeds Performance Plus. We're going to talk to Jamie. He kind of runs the truck, and he's one of the brothers and the son of the man that started Speeds. They've been doing this for almost 25 years, so they got a lot of experience. They've seen a lot of things. Had a lot of you guys asking questions on my build, on my lower end, changing my cams and stuff. Had that question about, you should put a welded crank. So I came to them and said, hey, what's the deal with the welded crank? So Jamie is going to go ahead and tell us a little bit about a welded crank.
So stay tuned and get your tech talk straight from us here today.
I had solid gears put in for my cam.
Yep.
And I've had several people say that I should have went with a welded crank.
Yep.
So let's talk about both of those. Why I wanted solid gears,
yep,
and why you might or might not want a solid
yes,
welded
absolutely.
cam.
So what we do is whenever we do a cam job, typically on your twin cam especially, the 99 to 06 and then the 07 to 16s, we always try to get the customer to go gear drive because it's a way better system. And part of that is, this is your 99 to 06, which is a chain drive, but it's not hydraulic. Then in late 06 Dyna, 07 Bagger, they went to hydraulic, which is they also have a chain on the inside. Well, what happens is this chain goes around on both these systems. It wears on that pad, and that nylon pad drops all the particles down to the bottom of the cam cavity, and then your oil pump sits behind it, and it scavenges and pulls those particles up into the oil pump and ends up scoring the oil pump. So therefore we get less oil pressure at idle and then going down the road. So we try to eliminate this and go to gear drive. So one, we eliminate all those issues of particles going through the oil pump. Secondly, you have way less drag on this because you don't have the chain and the pad on it, having a lot less drag, so you can make more power on it. So, and then while you're there, you also put a nice set of performance cams in to get some performance out of it too. So you kind of do a threefold when you do it. As far as talking about doing welded cranks and things like that, we don't do any of that stuff on the road, but when you do a cam job, you do what's called a run-out check on the crankshaft. That's to see how much movement you have in the lower end of the bike. If the run-out on the crankshaft is over a certain amount of tolerance, I think S&S usually wants to see like 3,000s up to 5,000, somewhere in that area. If it's over that, then typically you don't do the gear drive because it puts too much stress on the gears. Now, there's also the pinion gear down here. S&S makes an oversized and an undersized pinion gear. So when you do your run out at the end, you always want to check what's called the backlash on your top gear, right? You want a little bit of play, like 5,000ths play here. So you have the ability, if this is too tight or too loose, to either go with an oversized or an undersized, depending on which way you need to go. That's very, very crucial whenever you're doing a gear drive setup on the bike. So usually in 25 years of doing this, when we do a gear drive cam job, most of your run out or in specs, I'd say probably in 25 years I've maybe had 5, 6, 7 bikes max where I couldn't actually do the gear drives on the bike. Where we start getting into the welded crank situation, that's when you're going to put a pretty large motor like a big bore kit or something on the bike. Therefore you want a good base, just like you're building in a house, right? So if you're going to go, say, from a, like we'll use an M8 for example, you're going to go from a 107 up to like a 124 or 129, where you're going to put a lot more torque and a lot more horsepower to it. It might not be a bad idea to do the lower end and have the crank pin welded. It just beefs up the lower end of the bike. Now that being said, we build a lot of top-end motor kits like that on the road, again, where we do the run-out on every single one of the bikes we do, and as long as it's within tolerance and specs, we build that top-end motor. We just aren't doing heads and stuff on the road. We're doing the barrels, pistons, cams, and all that stuff. So the welded crank thing is a very good option that you can do, but you don't need to do it on a cam job necessarily. It's more for like a big bore kit where you're really going to put power to the bike. Or if you do a run out on the bike, say you got some crazy run out like 18,000s or 15,000s run out, well, yeah, obviously you can't do gear drive then. You got to go back with chain. The right answer would be to tear it apart, have the lower end dynamic balanced, weld the crank pin welded, and then put it back together. Lower ends, we use Dark Horse. Revolution Performance is another company, but we probably use Dark Horse more than anything else. There are other companies that do it as well. T-Man does it, A1 Cycles. There's some others throughout the country that also do the lower end welding and balancing as well.
At that, we want to thank Jamie for coming on today and telling you guys some of that great information. You know, we always like, you know, I could give you my opinion, but I'd rather have somebody that has been doing this forever.
An
You know,
expert.
Yep. They've been dealing with S&S, so they get a lot of great information from that. Their dad was doing this to start out. They got the brother up there in Rapid City, Sturgis area. He's got the shop there where they do all the big jobs if you want to get the upper ends all done and get a big bore kit and all that. They specialize more up there on that, or a total motor rebuild. Here they do, most of the things they do here, they can get done in a day. And
Because they're on the road.
that's right. So I want to thank Jamie for everything he did. And if you want any more information from Jamie, we'll put his email down here and a phone number. But if you have any questions, you know, send them to us. That way we can feed them to him when he's not so busy, because we don't want to contact him necessarily when he's at a rally, because he's really busy here. And like here today, this is Saturday of the Myrtle Beach rally, and he's already got a full day tomorrow that they're going to be working here on Sunday before they can get out of here. So with that, thanks a lot, Jamie. Thanks all of you for checking out the channel.
And subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Think about Patreon. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.
There you go.